Most people across the ground and mighty spectrums of time, indeed the multiverse. I am Gordon Johans, and today, those people, I have got for you today a link to a 8,000 or so word story that I have written called The Final Solution. Bit of a clickbaity title, considering that the vast majority of the people who follow my my stuff online are in fact Nazis who hate me. But it is also kind of accurate, since essentially it is called The Final Solution as it is about the end to the Great Septagonoid War and the final solution that ended that off in my fiction. And it's also kind of an important story in that, right? Look, story-wise, narratively, in terms of fiction, things have kind of been fucked for a while. I've been writing a lot, like a lot. But I've been writing out of pleasure. I've been writing to explore concepts and themes. Whereas, you know, like at college, at university, I was writing because I had a story in mind. I had an idea in mind. I had a thing I wanted to do. And that my writing was a way to tell that thing. I know. Even when it was fucking NaNoWriMo and I ended up having a chase through the Minecraft solar survival map because there just happened to be a section of the multiverse like that. Even then, it was because I had an idea in my head about where things wanted to go, and whilst they might have gone off script later on and gotten weird, there was a grander idea behind it, a central theme, a central story that was being touched on and explored. I've not been doing that lately. I haven't. There has been a sense of continuity in the background, but it has been very much an excuse. It's been an excuse to sort of say, okay, here's a story about, you know, the villain sort of turning someone into a toy. Here's a story about sort of tentacled aliens and revolution. And here's a story about the development of artificial intelligence, if you had access to all these other things, right? It has been using the tools of the story multiverse to explore new stories and ideas, right? And it's not actually been about using and it's not actually been about telling the story of the multiverse, right? And I suppose that's why the shift from FarChinook.com to like Green Nothing Productions, right? Because it stopped being about telling the stories of the characters and the multiverse and started being about using them to explore other things. And to be honest, right, the last few months I've been at a loss because there are no new things for me to explore, right? I mean, I got the kinds of things that I wanted to explore have been explored, and they've been explored better, right? You know, I've written my story about how artificial intelligence works in the multiverse. I have written my story about revolution in the multiverse, about tentacle aliens invading places. I have written my stories about. I've written my female-centric story in the Venus Trap. I've written a whole lot of things that are done now, and you know, I've been exploring politics, learning about politics this last sort of year, and I've been trying to, like, when Trump happened, when Brexit happened, I've been trying to find a way to use the multiverse to help with that, right? Like, because I suppose ultimately it's, you know, it goes back to the whole thing that I write for partly because, like, I'm a lapsed vegetarian in that I saw vegetarianism as a good thing that is worthwhile, but I liked fucking chicken too much. I liked eating chicken too much. So I just caught myself and thought, hang on, the vast majority of people who follow my videos hate the ever-living shit out of me and love taking me out of context. So, yes, I like eating chicken too much to stop eating it, so if I'm gonna send a message about how eating meat is wrong, I will use my writing to do so. And I've been trying to use my writing to advance that cause, but the thing is, it doesn't work. It doesn't work because you can't educate Nazis, right? You can't. There is no debating with someone whose fundamental ideas are so contrary to everything that is rational and good in the world, right? It's like how in George Orwell's 1984, you know, one of the expressions they have about the power of Big Brother is that if Big Brother tells you that 2 and 2 is 5, then you will believe that it is 5 because Big Brother tells you that it is 5. The alt-right Nazis, these are people who have been told by people like Milo, by Breitbart, Steve Bannon, by Fox Media, by all these foolish dickheads that, you know, 2 and 2 is 5, that a whole bunch of clearly nonsensical horseshit is true. So it doesn't fucking matter what kinds of debates you have in mind. It doesn't matter how you fucking present your platform. It doesn't matter what sterling message you have to give out. It ain't gonna work. Right? These are people who are so fucking cluelessly ignorant of the facts. Right? These are people who have been stalking me for the last year, following my videos, time upon time upon time upon time, screaming at me that nobody cares about my opinion as my subscribers skyrocket, as I am getting 1,000+ views, as the dislikes show that people give a shit about my opinion and they scream desperately that nobody does. These are people who are so fucking deluded from reality. You cannot fucking send a message to them. You cannot hope to debate with them, right? They keep asking for a debate because they will always win the debate, because they will never accept any answer to the debate that does not result in their victory. It's like, you know, it's like they are the people who will rock up into a debate kind of dressed in armor with like tiny spear. You're not gonna defeat them. And because you're not gonna defeat them, they think they can defeat you because, hey, I got a pointy thing. You can't touch me because I'm too stupid. So fuck you. So there is no way that I can use my writing to send a message, right? I tried for some time to say, okay, let's have the Farshnook take on a Trump analog, and it doesn't work because in real life Trump wouldn't last 5 fucking seconds against the Farshnook, right? Because Donald Trump, he is like the definition of refuge in audacity, right? He is the guy who is just so utterly incredulously stupid that nobody quite believes he's serious enough to take action, right? Right? Like, we'd know what to do more if they'd like literally elected an orangutan to be prime minister, to be president of America. Like, if he was literally just throwing his shit at the walls and going, oh, we would understand how to deal with him more. But because Donald Trump is this bizarre abomination that is sort of good enough to get a reality TV show going, that has got some vague level of intelligence to milk and play to an audience, and yet is also so very clearly abominably stupid. It's very hard to get a handle on him, and it's like even I, as much as I oppose the man, as much as I loathe the man, even I find myself going, well, maybe he's got a plan. Maybe he's not gonna be so bad, because it's just like, how can you be so fucking moronic? Like you'd expect that, you know, that when the Nazi uprising came, that they would have, you know, that they would lie and disguise and excuse, and they would be polished about, well, this is what we're going to do, you know, like you'd have concentration camps and you'd kill all the Muslims, but you'd go about it in such a way as everybody believes it is the best thing for national security. But instead, this fucker gets elected despite being a complete and utter shambles, and then, like, within the first couple of months, he's just like, I'm a complete imbecile, and I don't know what the fuck we're doing, and oh, by the way, we are going to completely do a whole load of racist shit, but not if it affects my business, because fuck you, I want to make money. And it's like, he's the worst. He's such a transparent combination of utter greed and hatred and monstrosity, and it's just like, I can't write a story that seeks to be analogous and inspiring against this kind of creature, because nothing I write will ever be on the same level as Trump, because Trump is a comic book character in real life. He is the kind of guy who will come out of a fucking press briefing and say and tweet, oh shit, the world is scary, I didn't know this, we've got a lot of enemies. This is a guy who will tweet after becoming president when the popular vote was against him, when people have been calling loudly for his impeachment, when the media is against him. This is a guy who will say, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. This is a guy whose press secretaries will make up bombings. This is a guy who will try to crack down on immigration by putting a ban in place which does not actually impact the issues he's talking about at all. Like, I will stop all extremists coming into our country. That is why I'm putting into place a ban that will not affect the few places where extremists have actually come into our country. Like, this guy is so fucking unreal. You can't fictionalize him, you can't satirize him, because he is a caricature in real life, right? And the thing is that, like, you know a certain amount of it is playing to an audience because he's a reality TV star. That is the one thing he's sort of good at. So you're like, is this stupidness part of the act? Because it really seems very fucking stupid. So you're thinking, like, either this guy is the best actor in the world, or he really is stupid, or it's some combination of the two, and you don't know. Like, narratively, Donald Trump is a guy you cannot make an analog for that works as a villain, because the Farshnuke would just kick his ass. I mean, the Farshnuke is a guy who literally turned into a wereshuck and ate Hitler whole. This is a guy who is an omnipotent being who can rewrite reality. This is a guy who absolutely does not give a shit. Like, he would legit just say, right, Donald Trump, you fucker, you're cocking up the world, shiv. Right? Because fuck it, right? The Farshnuke literally, like, the final solution is the Farshnuke condemning himself to, like, a literal hell, to literally, like, every Farshnuke who has ever lived and died being brought, having their souls brought back to fight an eternal war against the Septagonoids, right? This is a Farshnuke who has done that, who has condemned himself to hell for the sake of the multiverse. If you don't think that the Farshnuke would not just take one look at the fucking results of the presidential election, right? Maybe give the guy a week in office and then say, right, he's a complete and utter fucking madman who's fucking up the world, I'm killing the cunt, right? The Farshnuke wouldn't care about fucking being arrested, tortured, Guantanamo Bay. He would not fucking care, right? Nothing, no power in the multiverse would stop him. He would just fucking, he would find a way, he would get in and he would kill the son of a bitch. Because that bastard, Donald Trump, is a fucking madman, and you do not fucking let him be in charge of the fucking nuclear weapons. You do not let him be in charge of the most powerful country in the world. Right? Even if you are the most powerful country in the world, even if you are someone who wants a fucking Fourth Reich in America, you don't want someone that stupid in charge. You know, it's like the same that kind of the reason you don't get rid of Hitler if you're a time traveler is because Hitler was the one man mad enough to make the Fourth Reich fail. To make the Third Reich fail. And it's like, Donald Trump is just utterly fucking mad. I mean, I can't tell a story to kind of combat him because he is more insane and deranged than my stories. I mean, for God's sake, one of his party donors had his selfie taken with the fucking nuclear football! I mean, how fucking stupid can you get? Like, yes, I will get my selfie taken with the guy who is chained to the fucking nuclear launch codes. How fucking stupid do you have to get? And it's like these are the people who are trying to destroy me. These are the people who hate me. These are the people who think emailing me makes a difference. These are the people who sent me a fucking spider in the post. I like spiders. I fucking like spiders. They kill moths and bees and shit. I like them. I think they're cute and badass. They're just like, people hate spiders. I'll send you a spider in the post because fuck you. And then they get themselves arrested. And it's... Trump supporters and Trump himself. You're too fucking stupid. And it's like, you know, I said before that, like, the reason that Anita Sarkeesian is given a shit about at all is that people hated her, and instead of doing the sensible thing and saying, well, this person knows nothing, I must ignore them, they decided, I know, this person knows nothing, I will rage and tell everyone I know about her, so that therefore she would become world famous. And it's like, that's what they're doing to me. We will stalk him and hound him and make him have loads of money. That'll show him. When he's regularly getting a YouTube payment every month because of our contempt for him, then he will understand that he should not ridicule Donald Trump. When we are so determined to leave dislikes and tell him he is a cuckoo, that he is making a good £60 every month, then and only then, when he is certain to live a long and prosperous life, then and only then will he stop bothering us. Like, no, that's not how this works. Right? If you want me to fail, you silence me. You get everyone you know to ignore me, right? Because what this is a tactic to harass. What we will do is we will group together and we will harass him and he will give up. Fuckers, I'm a dead man. Right? I am a fucking dead man. I have no job, no prospects. I am not someone with the ability to get a job. I am not someone with the ability to handle getting on social security payments and the treadmill that requires. I'm a dead man. All of you haters rushing out there to leave cuckoo when I made an entire video pointing out that I don't give a shit if you call me a cuck. Right? I literally made an entire video saying, I don't care if you call me a cuck. That is just a sign that you are a stupid, insecure, special snowflake. Right? And they desperately left comments saying, well, you're a cuck. Well, you like a black man fucking your girlfriend. Dude, if I got to have a fucking girlfriend, I wouldn't give a shit if the price was letting Idris Elba pow her. Right? I'm a bisexual polyamorous shipper. Of course I'd have no problem with that. Right? Are you kidding me? You know, black men and women, like, they're incredibly beautiful people. And it's like, you think I'd give a shit? I'd be like, hell no, you'd have a good time. These are so stupid. These people are so stupid that even when I outright make a video saying I don't care if you call me a cuck, they will call me a cuck as though it is a fucking, it is a supreme sign of their intelligence and how they are master debaters and how they are greater than me and superior to me because they fall so willingly into my traps. I'm sorry this has gone off the rails, but I don't care. I don't care. This is just... Guys, if you want me dead, if you want to never hear from me again, what you do is you stop giving me the power of your views. You stop giving me the power of your comments and your attention. But you don't understand this. You don't get this. You're just so fucking stupid. You can't realize it. Oh God. Oh God. Taking a selfie with a nuclear. Calling me a cuck on a video where I specifically point out I don't care if you call me a cuck. If you call me a cuck, you are just highlighting that you are in fact are an easily triggered, sensitive snowflake. Because you think it's a bad thing. You know, the fact that I made a video specifically talking about how genocide is bad, and you had people in the comments saying, hey, Nazis committed less genocide than the fucking communists. As though it fucking matters. As though it's a game of fucking top trumps, right? And it's like, well, you see, this guy committed more genocide, so he's more evil. No, genocide is bad! Right? Yes! The Brits committed genocide. The Americans are an entire country founded upon genocide. Genocide is bad. I don't care what country you're from, what your nationality is. Genocide is bad. If you support genocide, that is bad and you are bad. And the fact that this video was explicitly about how genocide was a bad thing and someone left a comment saying, hey, I'm not in favor of genocide! How dare you call me a Nazi? Dude, if you are not in favor of genocide, the video specifically talking about people in favor of genocide is not talking about you. If you don't fucking get that because you don't fucking know your words, then that's not my fucking problem. The stupidity of the fucking YouTube comments, the stupidity of my haters is stupidity of Donald Trump of his regime is utterly fucking mind-boggling. It's and if you are sitting there at home thinking, oh yes, our plan is working, he thinks we're a complete and utter bunch of stupid twats and is clearly about to have a heart attack from how stupid we are. Dude, there is no way you can spin this. There is no fucking way you can ever spin this in a way that does not make you look like the most pathetic bunch of deluded shitheads. Anyway, I'm gonna get a drink of squash, and then I'm gonna talk about my fiction. Yeah. It's been a weird time of late. And it's like I've been trying to ignore you guys. I've been hoping that if I let you burn yourselves out like a fucking forest fire, that you'll go away and you'll sort your shit out, right? I've been hoping that if I just ignore you, that you'll realize that this isn't working. But I guess sometimes you just need to have a laugh about how fucking stupid your enemies are. I mean, it's like I've got a fucking mug that's like a Seventh Doctor mug, right? Because one of my favourite stories is Remembrance of the Daleks. Was the Seventh Doctor being utterly fucking manipulative and causing Davros to destroy himself, pretty much in the same way that I managed to make my channel successful. You know, no, Davros, don't do it, please, I'm begging you. You don't want to do this. Wow, fuck you, Doctor. Boom! Oh dear, I just, the hand of a beggar just destroyed Scarrow. Shit. I'm fucked. Racists, unsubscribe now! Quick, all of us, let's subscribe and give him lots of ad revenue. That'll show him. The genocidal should reconsider. Quick, all of us, let us give him loads of ad revenue, so that'll convince him that he should stop holding his political stance. How do we convince this man that he shouldn't talk about hating Trump? I know, let's make it really financially viable and important financially for him to criticize Trump at every fucking place, right? How do we silence criticism? Let's make it incredibly financially valuable if people decide to criticize Donald Trump. You're so stupid! You're so stupid! So stupid! So stupid! Yeah, I'm gonna be back in a minute. Alright. Alright, so I have calmed down. Somewhat. Ooh. I may, ever so slightly, be a bit, shall we say, temporarily, sanitarily, not at my best. Because of essentially tiredness and a bug, and the fact that last night I happened to see on Twitter people were making a fuss about seeing a piece of artwork that they were saying was incredibly misogynistic, and then it turned out it was actually a piece of what is known as bimboification fetish art, transformation fetish art, and I ended up looking at this person's sort of DeviantArt page just out of curiosity, and don't look at a kink that is not your thing when you are tired as fuck and running on fumes, because my mind just ran away with that theme, and it was not necessarily a pleasant night's sleep. Fortunately, I then had like a good 5-hour nap afterwards, so I'm feeling okay now. But yeah, that was weird. Weird night's sleep. Weird nap, so I'm kind of feeling a bit at the moment. Hence my sort of Joe Crest breakdown. And I actually forgot the point I was making when I mentioned the Seventh Doctor, which is that on this mug that I have, it says you can always judge a man by the quality of his enemies. And so I suppose if there is one effective insult you can say that the alt-right have given me, it is that as enemies go, they are very shit, and that probably does not affect well on me, if you go by that quote. Who are your enemies? Well, my enemies are a bunch of fucking morons who decide that the best way to have a go at me is to give me lots of ad revenue. Yes. The best way to destroy me is to pay lots of attention to me, give a lot of a shit about me, make me have lots of ad revenue, and boost the chances of my being able to make a living from pissing them off. Like, sorry, I need to stop myself because I will end up going into another hysterical fit because you're so stupid. So anyway, before I got derailed, it's been hard to write of late, and I've been struggling to find a good thing that I can do with my writing. You know, to find an importance and reason for what I do. And at the same time, I have been writing sort of privately, you know, trying to find a thing that fits, trying out loads of different things, you know. Where's Dawning, you know, the Farshnuk versus Richard Raspberry sort of series of stuff. This new Robert Gordon Banks series, I mean, aborted things that were basically just, you know, fucking fantasies. Fortunately, the gift worked out. And it's like, I now know what I want to do. And the really good thing is, I kind of don't need to do anything special to make it happen, right? Yeah, I'll explain why in a moment. But basically, I am launching with the story linked in the video description, was a story called The Final Solution. I am launching the Green Nothing Productions literary multiverse, right? I know it doesn't seem like much of a thing, considering that, you know, it's they're literary stories that feature a multiverse as a central concept. But what I mean is that, like, I am going to be I'm going to be having multiple different series with each with their own protagonists, right? Because that's the thing I've been struggling with, is that, like, I've been wanting to tell sort of, I suppose, the proto or quasi attempt at feminist stories with a female lead who is taking charge and challenging shit, and at the same time, I do feel like men need an example to guide from. Like, we need an example of how the fuck a man is supposed to function in feminist society. We need the feminist hero. Because it's all well and good saying, oh, well, we've got so many examples of men throughout the ages who are heroes in fiction and reality, right? But we are dealing with a very different world now. And it is hard to be a man and find your place in this world. And feminism generally doesn't give a shit about men, right? Like it is a fact that men commit suicide at a staggering rate. And when people have looked into this, they've kind of, the conclusion has generally been a dismissive, well, patriarchy in it. If we use feminism to destroy the patriarchy, men will stop killing themselves. Woo! You know, men just need to talk to people. And it's like, actually being a man is very fucking complicated. And very fucking difficult. And I feel like, for me, I mean, I've had a whole load of shit happen, you know, to me, because it's like, okay, autistic, Kalman syndrome, growth hormone deficiency, being bisexual, sort of brought up in the sort of middle-class white male at a time when gay was still a slur, but like gay was starting to be accepted and stuff like this, and you know, like Captain Jack's on Doctor Who and shit like that. But like, still very much there is this idea that of fragile masculinity, basically. Like it doesn't have to be toxic masculinity to be dangerous, because masculinity is fragile, right? So much of masculinity is about having the muscles, having the fast cars, about watching the violent TV shows, about liking the nerdy shit, about about having the big dicks and having the girls and having the certain kind of girl, and it's like there is a lot of judgmental shit that goes on with being a guy, and on top of that, right, if you're a guy, you are involved in this perpetual fucking, you know, schoolyard fight to be at the top. You know, it's like fucking stags butting heads to decide dominance. Like, that's male culture. So much of male culture is this ridiculous competitive, no, I'm better, no, I'm better. And it's like, when you've got Kalman syndrome and you've got autism and growth hormone deficiency and you're bisexual, right? You're starting with a hell of a fucking handicap, right? You're starting with a hell of a fucking handicap, and you're so desperate for something, for some way to prove to yourself and the world that you are normal, that you're masculine enough, that you're hetero enough, that you end up fucking yourself up worse, because it's like, I must like women, I must, but okay, I've got, you know, less testosterone than the average one, but I must like women, and so you, like that's why I am now a raving misogynist, basically, because it's like, I must find a way to get off on women so I can be reaffirm to myself that I am in fact a nice heterosexual man and that I'm okay. And so I'm like, you know, delving deep into fetishes and like BDSM and microphilia, and it's like, yes, submissive women, I like that, woo! I'm normal. And then I finally get testosterone injections, and it's like, brother, I ain't fucking normal. And it's like, I'm only just now beginning to come to terms with, like, I almost feel like I'm coming to terms, it just almost feels like this is more of a thing for me than coming out as bisexual. Like, with bisexuality, it was basically just watching Farscape and realising, actually, I think John Crichton is pretty darn hot and I'd like to fuck him. Right? Whereas, bisexuality, whereas, you know, sort of coming out as kinky is kind of a... I mean, there's a lot more shit to fucking realise. Like, it's not just, well, do I like guys as well as girls? It's kind of like, so what exactly do I like about women being shrunken and turned into pets? So what exactly do I like about women being eaten alive? So what exactly do I like about women being bound up? And it's a hell of a fucking head trip of just like, I'm a horrible evil monster, I like horrible evil things, and then sort of realising that, hang on, if it's safe, sane and consensual, the stuff that isn't safe, sane and consensual is just fiction, then, you know, you're just fetishistic, and it's okay, and it's, you know, I'm still dealing with that. You know, and it's complicated. It's complicated. And so I feel like, in conclusion for this part of the tangent, that, you know, I do need to, that we do need male heroes who recognize this complex stuff. And it's like, I do feel like genuinely men need to, that we do need a non-sexist movement for men's rights that is just like, hey, men have the right to have tiny dicks, you know. Men don't need to have a girl to be interested in girls to be okay. That men cannot know what the fuck they are, right? because I feel like so much of the reason I am now so fucked up is because of this desperate desire to fit in terms of belonging to a certain easily understandable normal form of male masculinity. Like, I mean, it's even something very, you know, something very masculine about being gay, right? You know, it's like the old jokes, you know, that they make on The Simpsons, you know, about, like, you know, so Timmy, do you like wrestling? Do you like sports? Do you like sort of hard working in the mind sort of thing? Is that your sort of thing? You know, it's like that joke that this guy made. Like, it's not hard to be into women. Oh, women, they're all so soft. They shave. No, it's hard if you're into men, because men are big and tough and muscly and they stink. Right? You know, it's like, it's fine to be gay so long as you're still masculine. And it's like, it's like a hell of a thing for me to come to. Is like I am a dom. I am someone who wants to be dominant sexually, but is also not a very masculine person in general, right? Because generally speaking, as far as I'm concerned, masculinity means being kind of a dickhead, right? It's basically, isn't violence cool? Right? And, like, I can appreciate the beauty of a good explosion, right? I can appreciate the badassery of a well orchestrated fighting move. I can appreciate the skill and intellect of military tactics. But I ain't into the masculine bullshit. I ain't into this, but do, bro, do you even lift? Right? Never mind that, you know, the other day I was pissed that my dad moved my laptop, and I happened to be, you know, opening the curtains at the same time, and I ended up tearing the curtains off the rails just from the, you know, the sheer strength of being annoyed in that moment. And again, like, that's not something I'm proud of. That's not something I'm happy about. Like, being strong and violent isn't a good thing for me, you know. Like, yes, I can appreciate it is a good thing that Superman, because he's a good egg, is able to, like, punch through walls and push aside steel beams and shit. Like, I can appreciate, you know, from a rescuing people from burning buildings standpoint, being able to, you know, handle shit is good. But I am not someone who delves into fucking burning buildings. I am someone who sits behind a computer. I do not need to be able to bench press. I don't even know what an impressive term or an appropriate term to bench press would be. I don't know, like 320 kilograms? I don't know. I mean, I know that there are, like, stories of people who can, like, pull lorries with their testicles and shit. Sure as hell ain't that level. This is rambly as fuck. But yeah, I want to write a new multiverse of stories, and that means I'm going to have multiple different series going on. And to a certain extent, I've already had that, in the sense that I have had, you know, the Farshnook stuff going on and the Bamkush stuff going on. as well as other things like, you know, the Contra Survival was its sort of own standalone thing. But like those were all separate things with a kind of myth arc woven through them as just kind of a, hey, well, while I've got it here, I might as well have it as part of the narrative of the thing, right? Whereas with the final solution, I am ending off that era of storytelling, and I am introducing a new era of storytelling in the Great Green Nothingness, in the multiverse, whereby there are going to be multiple different series going on, all with the theme of essentially taking back the multiverse and feminists being the new guiding force in the world. Or the sort of representatives for the feminists, the SLF, the Self-Liberation Front. And it's like I have learned stuff from my time here. So from my time in the last few months. So it's like, well, I suppose the last couple of years actually. So it's like you're going to be seeing, you know, the story of Robert Gordon Banks, right, and his training to become the sort of replacement in the pantheon for the Farshnik, sort of rebooting the Farshnik, right? And at the same time, you are going to be seeing the development of other characters who are going to become important in the Gordon Banks stories later, and in the multiverse later, as essentially the Self-Liberation Front makes moves to take back the multiverse. Okay, and you might even see a series, you know, about the Logicios reforming, or the Architects of Chaos and how they're managing the multiverse whilst all this is going on. You might see a kind of like decline of the EU sort of Brexit style thing with regard, sort of set in the United Civilizations as it wanes, as sort of like how they deal with the fact that, you know, the SLF, that kind of at the time of the United Civilizations were effectively like a terrorist organization. The SLF are now taking over the multiverse, right? How they react to it, you know, you might you're certainly going to see new sort of Bam Kirsch stories, and I suppose the Gift is a sort of a Bam Kirsch story. You're going to see, you know, how the Contra Voxi deal with this. You're going to see lots of stuff going on, and it's like, I don't need to send a message about Trump with my fiction, because I've got this, right? And because this channel makes the money. Because every time I insult Trump, every time I insult Nazis, I get another 1,000 views, right? Every time I say racists should fuck off, they flock to me and give me money. So I don't need my fiction to be there to be politically. Instead, I can have fiction being escapism. Instead, I can use fiction to explore other themes and ideas, like how do people adapt to a post-scarcity society? How does the politics of the multiverse work? Like I can explore things whilst telling a grander narrative, and that's what the final solution really is about, is telling this grand narrative. And I know I have now rambled on for an hour about a whole lot of stuff, including at length about how stupid Trump supporters are and about how really hard it is to be a guy in, the 21st century. And so I'm probably going to get a lot of hate from a whole lot of different people. But I also think, I have launched this series now, and I'm genuinely considering starting a new channel that is just like Farshnook audiobooks, and that is just adaptations of the stories as sort of pieces to camera, and so they're easier to find, and yeah, it's a thing I'm sort of playing with, as like how to get my writing going, because I'm understanding where my writing's place in the world is a lot more now, right? As I come to terms with my own sort of sexuality as a kinkster, I'm also coming to terms with the place my writing fits in, sort of the niches and genres and stuff. And also, the final solution is like the first story, like I've really properly proofread, right? So, yay! Proofreading is now a thing that is happening, and indeed, what might actually happen in future is that I essentially do what isn't, I mean, CGP Grey kind of does this, as sort of like the grammar Nazi preview. I might do something similar and sort of effectively have like the the typo preview for all the people who want to subscribe to my Patreon and get the stuff I write early. And that I post it there first for people to look at. Because if nothing else, right, once I finish a thing, there is something about me. I mean, it might just be from university days of rushing out essays, right? Because part of the reason I can write so good is essentially I learned to waffle in essays and exams, right? And I suppose that's why this is an hour-long video, and I regularly make hour-long videos, and sometimes even 3-hour-long videos, because I can waffle like hell, right? Or I suppose waffle like a waffle man. And so once I have finished writing a thing, I just want to get it out there, and sort of like, then I can sleep, then I can rest, then I can chill the fuck out. And it's like, after I've slept and rested and I'm no longer on that high and in that moment, then I can read through it and then I can edit it. And obviously it's a lot more difficult when I'm writing longer and longer and longer things, because I don't really like reading, right? And you can't proofread it without reading it. And that's partly why I'm making the shift to writing series, because it means I don't have to read so much in a single sitting if I'm going to proofread it. I don't have to think about, oh my god, I've written a 50,000 word novel. I just have to think, okay, I'm going to just edit this 10,000 word chunk, get that out, and then I can proofread the next thing. Because as long as it's written, right, it doesn't fundamentally matter about typos along the way. I can change up the typos, that's fine. Because I'm not someone who generally edits and goes back and like puts in a scene or whatever. Just so long as I know the story is at a good place to finish it off before I decide to go through and do the proofreading. and it's okay. And the fact that I have already written so much of Where Self-Dawning means that, but the fact that I haven't, capped it off yet means that I can very easily bring this into the multiverse, because to a certain extent you want the first 70,000 words of the story to be about the story itself and introducing the characters and what have you. And in actual fact, right, a lot of Where Self-Dawning actually informed on the Final Solution and on, I suppose, the Return as well. So, although I'm not sure about the dates on the Return, because but certainly it informed on the Final Solution and in terms of what happened there. So like there is stuff that's, there is a meta narrative, meta arc going on, and like I'm gonna focus on getting the Robert Gordon Banks series to a point I'm happy with first. But once that's there, I'm gonna start breaking that out into chunks. Then I think I might go back to Where Self-Dawning, or I might do a sequel to The Gift. But like, either way, at this point, I'm back to spinning plates, And I suppose like that's what I've been missing. Is that when I was at college and university, I never had just one thing, right? I never just had the dissertation. I never just had the story. I always had tons of different things on the go. And it's, it's like my ex had a freak out when I suggested that we don't watch one thing in one long binge, because for him he can only perceive of he can only possibly follow one story. I'm a different way, right? In that I am so empathetic and my imagination is so powerful that I need to take breaks from stories. I need to step out of the world and go be in the real world for a bit, go chill out, go calm the fuck down before I go back to a thing. And like, as much fun as it has been to plow through the Contravox Survivor and Where Self-Dawning, not Where Self-Dawning, Fuzzy Logic, Toymaker, right? There have been times, like with Where Self-Dawning, like with the utterly abhorrent, aborted sort of story that was supposed to be like The Culture that I wrote, like where I tried to write things and I get too close and I don't see the mistakes I'm making and I have to abort it. And I need to take breaks. I need to plate spin. I need variety. I can't just be all in on something. And this extends to my sort of recreational habits too. Like I can't just watch one series anymore. And as fun as it has been to plow through Hannibal and Game of Thrones and Yes Minister and The Thick of It and The West Wing, I can't do that anymore. I need to change it up, because that's what my childhood was about. My childhood was watching a load of different series every night, and it was at school covering a load of different subjects. College, same thing. Even when I got to university and I stopped watching conventional TV, I would still watch Sherlock and Doctor Who in that kind of way of just like alternating the things. I'd watch many different kinds of Let's Play series, and it's like I can't just focus on one thing because my brain gets too focused and too overloaded. I need loads of different things. I need to plate spin. I am at my best when I am plate spinning and dodging bullets. And because I've got a multiversal story structure now to work with, because I've got multiple different series that I've got on the go now, and I've got multiple... Because it's complex, I like this. And it's like, I said I was gonna, find the nerdage again, and it's like, actually I can't find the nerdage again, because everything I would be nerdy about exists. Right? It's like, wouldn't it be really cool if there are holograms? We've got them. Really, wouldn't it be really cool if there were submissive women? Yeah, like BDSM is a thing, and like, yeah, if I wanted to, I could pull myself together and go out and get on the scene, and I'm not ready for it yet, right? So I'm not gonna, right? But it's there, and it's like, do I want to, geek over this thing or that thing? Well, there are other things about them. I don't need to nerd out about shit, and there's nothing I particularly want to nerd out about. But I give a shit about my multiverse, and I think I'm gonna plate spin my multiverse stuff now, and if there is one really fucking good thing, aside from the ad revenue that being stalked by Nazis give you, is that I couldn't give a shit whether feminists hate me or dislike my stuff anymore, right? Okay, you disagree with my fiction and you've taken it to heart and you're really upset with me. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry you're upset. I'm sorry if I've offended you. But I don't care. I'm going to continue writing my fiction because I've been stalked by Nazis for the last year, and you know what? That hasn't stopped me, so I'm not going to stop to a bunch of feminists kind of going, yeah, I don't like that, So, yeah, and besides, the more I come to understand myself and my fetishes, the more I come to understand my fiction, the more I come to understand my fiction's sort of place within genre and in society and pop culture, and I'm okay with it. And I'm getting into proofreading, and I'm getting this multiversal plot arc thing going on. I'm doing the plate spinning, and I've been doing drafts of stuff, and I've been doing editing, and yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot of better stuff in the year to come. If I live. It's always entirely possible that, we just run out of money and I die, but, as long as I live, I'll give this a fucking go. But in order to be able to live, to give this a fucking go, I'm gonna have to make sure I do lots and lots of videos talking about how stupid Trump and his supporters are, so that they'll keep giving me lots of lovely, lovely ad revenue. So anyway, this has been one fucking long rambly video. And I've been Gordon Johansson. I'm sorry for having stolen an hour of your life. Goodbye. Thank you to all my Patreons at patreon.com for helping to make videos like this possible. If you wish to leave a like or dislike to rate the video for my analytics, that would be much appreciated. Comments are always welcome, though be aware that they will be moderated before being published, so please be civil. If you liked this video, please consider adding it to your favourites, sharing it to your friends, or subscribing. If you wish to help me out, or my channels, please consider whitelisting my videos in your adblock software, subscribing for monthly donations through Patreon, or giving a small one-off donation. Alternatively, I have a Steam wishlist for games I would consider let's playing or streaming, so if you would like to see me broken before the Dark Souls altar, or just happen to have gotten a duplicate of a game in a humble bundle, then you know what to do. I also have an official Facebook fan page, Twitter account, Tumblr, Reddit and blog, so you can stay up to date with all of my videos, blog articles and the things I care about. Links are in the video description. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I think that all that now needs to be said is ban all guns, institute universal basic income now, and ensure government is elected by proportional representation. Oh, and also fuck the racists and fuck the alt-right.